And report back to the commission on those. All right.
I'm good.
Okay. Next item. And this is item number 6C, discussion and possible action regarding the use of commission chambers and rooms in City Hall. And this is one that I know at the last meeting, I think we had all kind of shared the same thoughts, that we have had inquiries from others out there that want to utilize the City Hall, city chambers, and we no longer have that City Hall policy that was in place. So we need to now have some discussion about what is the policy, what do we want to do, how do we want to do this, and typically what had been done is we had the ability for utilization of, like Neighborhood Watch Group works with our police department, and they were able to utilize the chambers, and then other organizations like government organizations or organizations that we had membership in, like the Chamber of Commerce, were able to use the room, meeting room. So this is that opportunity for us to share our thoughts, see where we're at, what do we want to do. I provided these every time I was looking through what programs we have and how things are set up right now, and you can see there's a whole bunch of different documentation from the community center rentals for the Morgan Center, Mullen Center, as well as just some other programs that we had that has policies and procedures, what's appropriate for the facilities and how that gets done, and reservations for those rooms. So I'm open to hear where the board is at. I think, from my perspective, I think getting back to where we have a limited use. Obviously, this is an administrative building. It's primarily for the administration of the city, use of staff, even commissioners, and for the city business. So I think preserving that, especially we have two community centers basically there for other types of things that people can utilize those spaces for. But I do think we need to bring back, the ability for the non-city entities that we do have relationships with that are pertinent to the stuff that we're doing, to allow for that use. And it's probably a very simple policy that we can put into place. And with that, Vice Mayor.
Now, let me just first, that city clerk, how did we do it in the past? I know that we gave nonprofits free rental.
I really
But
don't recall.
you don't remember?
I would have to look and see if I could try to find something on that. I really do not remember how it was done in the past.
Well, let me just say how I remember it, and I might be wrong. Specifics. I mean, I don't have the specifics, but if I remember correctly, and this got changed after 2010.
Yeah,
so,
and I was
but-
coming from where, aside from the past, let's look at what is it in this environment today.
Well, here's the thing: the nonprofits did not have to go through special event permits. They didn't. And I'm telling you, this is another discussion for a long. This is another discussion for a longer term. I mean, at another date, because my problem is, I think that what I'm trying to get at is that if it's a city board, you get priority. So the Explorers and the city, anything that was like city affiliated. So if the Parks and Recs, or if Kiwanis was doing a combination function, let's just throw that out there. If Kiwanis was doing a function with the Easter egg hunt with the city, then that meeting had priority over Chat, or that's a poor example because Chat is affiliated with the city too, but I don't know, Joe Schmo wants to rent the meeting room. You get what I mean? Like things that were involved with the city had priority.
Can I just clarify though? We're only talking about City Hall
I am
building.
talking about City
Okay.
Hall.
All right, because as far as I
Because-
knew, nobody could rent City Hall space.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
This is what I'm trying to get at, is that we held community events here. We had Chat here, who did an entire organized day event where we had, what was it? It was a children's forum. We did a huge event about children's initiatives. There were other leagues that have used the meeting rooms, but we've had other things go on in here that weren't city affiliated. But they didn't get, if they were a nonprofit, they didn't get charged. If they were a for-profit, then there was a different process. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get at, is that there was a difference between the nonprofit and the for-profit. And I personally like the simplicity of what you had entered, Mayor, is just one page, fill it out, but I would just add the priority that if you're affiliated with the city, then you should have that first over anyone else. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'll just add, I think one of the big questions here is whether or not we want to open up City Hall
Absolutely.
itself to non-governmental entities and non-affiliated entities. So if are we going to open it up for-profit and non-profit entities to utilize City Hall for activities which right now are being
Done it in the past. So.
right now are being done at the Morgan Center and the Mullen Center, where they rent space and go through that procedure for that. So that's really the question here that I'd like to discuss and talk about. As
So why don't
well.
we go down the line with
I
the
have a
whole
light
open
on,
the, oh,
Commissioner
didn't
McDowell.
see you, Debbie.
Understanding that we did it in the past, with what Vice Mayor was saying, but we now have the Morgan Center and we have the Mullen Center. So before I can proceed, I need to understand what makes room 244 different than the Morgan and Mullen Center, where they can already rent or have a way of maybe not having to pay to rent there. What makes room 244 or 302 available, and to who is it going to be available? And then now we're going to add in city chambers. Who is that going to be available to? Because 2016 is a totally different mindset of groups that want to come in and use City Hall that may not fit our culture of what we want City Hall to be used for. So I think the bigger picture is, who do we rent to? How do you say yes or no? And why would they use this building when Morgan and Mullen's available? So those are my three big questions before I'm all for keeping City Hall available for citizens and government groups and private groups. I'm all for that. But I need to understand the differentiation between using Morgan, using Mullen, or using City Hall.
Availability?
Are they always packed? Are those facility meeting rooms, are they always booked?
I don't
I
have the rental history in front of me.
Yeah.
I think there is availability, but I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, and again, Commissioner McDowell, where I'm coming from in bringing this is to have a process that, again, those governmental entities, and not necessarily city government activities, but other governments, you have some of the legislators that want to use the chambers, right? They want to use the chambers for certain things. To have something that allows for that, but not to open it up to private entities to utilize City Hall, meeting rooms and the chambers.
So it has to be related somehow, some way to government?
governmental entities as well as affiliates of the city. So again, Neighborhood Watch is an affiliate that works with the police department. If they need to utilize space here for whatever their needs are of those meetings, whether it's, you know, the presentations or what have you, that is part of city affairs, city business. But for just a private group out there, whether they're private or nonprofit, there is the Mullen Center, there is the Morgan Center. There are already those places that they could utilize. So why would we
Right.
transform City Hall, which is the administrative building, into that type of activity? So I ask the same question. That's what I would ask, but I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating for putting it back to governmental use as well as city affiliates.
Okay. And that helps clarify because, you know, we want to have the public be able to use City Hall, but we also have to have some parameters in place because if we're trying to schedule a special meeting like we just did 5 minutes ago, how are we going to know if the city is going to be, if that date is even available? Maybe we have Sarasota County government wanting to use City Hall that date. So those are just other hiccups that we need to be aware of.
And historically, I know with the governmental entities and associations that the city had here, that is always a given. That if something comes up, city business is first, and they may end up getting bumped out. City manager, you have your light on.
Yeah, I just want to point out that with the repeal of the ordinance that you all repealed, what the mayor said is the practice we had and what we went back to at that point in time, because it's being regulated administratively, and without a policy from the commission, that's what we went back to.
As you went back
Which was
to,
what?
as far as what? Governmental
Government
entities.
or specifically related to city activities.
Right, like city affiliate type things.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
But we don't have a policy right now.
Other than the does the commission have a policy? No, you repealed that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not allowing for Neighborhood Watch. It's not allowing for the.
I already invited the chamber back, their government relations committee.
Yeah.
I invited them back a month or so ago. Right now, they're happy where they're at, and they'll consider it another point in time. The chief's working with Neighborhood Watch because the issue there is it's after hours. It's not like a lot of the other meetings. We have a staff person from PD that attends. They're currently meeting in the police department, which is where they went to after the ordinance was passed. So they're working on that as an example. So
The last it was communicated to me was that since the policy was taken away, that basically we don't allow anything now.
not by me.
We had a conversation a couple of months ago.
Oh, I said it went back. I specifically said it went back to the way it was before, which is administratively, it was city-related or other governmental activities, which is how it was before the ordinance was put into effect.
Okay, because I think even as recent, didn't we all receive emails from the Neighborhood Watch that they were not allowed to come back into?
That was the email where they were asking. They hadn't asked yet. So when I got that email, I asked the chief to contact them and work on them with it. They are. Nobody's asked, I mean, nobody has specifically asked me about it other than to say, hey, I want to make sure you got this email. I got it to the chief. They're working on what the best option is.
Okay. And then the Chamber of Commerce had a request to use the chambers for, what was it, a candidate
A forum, but they don't really have to
that-
request. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I'm saying on
No,
that
he did
one.
in his
I'm saying on that one, what I offered to bring them back to is what they had been using before I got here and while I was here
Right.
until that ordinance was the governmental affairs, I forget the proper name.
Right.
Their governmental affairs policy committee. The other one, I couldn't argue that the other one had a governmental purpose, but if the commission found one, then you guys would have approved it. So we put it on the agenda. They withdrew their request. So when it's government related, that one certainly is. I send a staff person to that meeting every single time. In some ways, it's more convenient if it was here. So
Right.
I told them, if you want to come back, we're open to it.
Well, and we've had, like I said before, we've had those forums in City Hall before.
To me, that's a policy issue for the commission. That's up to you all. But the things that are related to what we're doing, such as the governmental affairs one, yeah.
Yeah.
We invited them back.
Because we're a member of that, and if FLC or some of these other, the Public Works Association or something like that, those are things that would be allowed administratively.
I went back, without a policy from the commission, I went back to how we were handling it prior
Before.
to that ordinance. Yes.
So what if Sarasota County wants to hold their southern meeting?
Do
That's
it
fine.
all the time.
Okay.
We've done it for the school board, we've done it
Right.
for, I don't know that we've done one for the county specifically, but, yep. We've hosted maybe the MPO or a couple other
Delegation,
ones.
the Sarasota County delegation has
Yeah.
met here.
Yeah.
Had the COG meeting here in City
TDC.
Hall.
Which we're gonna
you know.
have soon again. The veterans, the recent deal about the veterans, I remember that email that they were in a smaller room and that first they were
I didn't see the email.
upstairs.
Somebody forwarded me a Facebook.
I'm assuming the email that you sent out. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, we were dealing with our contact person, and their contact person
Right.
was okay with.
I get
with the
that.
solution.
I get that. I'm not worried about that. My point is that considered a government function, like
It is
groups like
because of the way
that?
they're funded.
So it
We
goes by
view it
funding.
as- yeah, all three of those groups that we have space for veterans activities, that's how we view it. The space downstairs for the tax collector and property appraiser. That, again, we view that as a benefit to our residents, no different than the veteran services. We think it's an important component of outreach in the community, and it's related to governmental activity because of how it gets funded. So, and the oversight.
If there was any program funded by state or federal monies, they would be welcome because they would have a government affiliation.
Well, I think in that case, they're actually administered by entities. It's not just that they got funded. They're actually administered either by Veterans Affairs or whichever the groups are. But I don't remember off the top of my head, but they're actually
I'm just
administered.
because I know that a lot of programs that get funded by
Yeah, I don't know that we could
state
host.
or federal programs.
Obviously, when y'all built City Hall back in 2006, you built it to accommodate growth in city functions. That was the primary purpose because all the spots were identified on the
Right.
site plan.
Right.
We haven't obviously had the growth that was anticipated at that time, so we take opportunities to, like, I think that part downstairs on the first floor was supposed to be like a little cafeteria kind of thing.
Yes, it
Well,
was.
I mean, that's not a realistic thing today in this building. So that's a good use of the space until such time as the needs of the city outweigh somebody else getting space to do that. So, obviously we're starting to get to the point where there's not a lot of free space left.
No, there's not. I mean, but
So-
initially we put the meeting rooms together to allow for rental space for people to come in, groups to come in and rent the
All-
rooms. But now,
Yeah.
Commissioner McDowell makes a perfect example of why we don't have to worry about that now. Morgan Center wasn't in at that time. I just worry about availability. If Morgan is all booked up, because I can tell you on a Thursday you have one room to deal with when we've got what do you call it, the DeFi in there. I mean, you have very limited space then. So I would venture to say that. And I don't know how the Mullins, if that's always booked like the Morgan or what, but I would worry that if we didn't have the space in the other two community centers, that we didn't allow the city manager the opportunity to say, listen, we have room 244. By all means, let's go ahead and allow you to rent that space out. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Not City Hall to chambers necessarily, but if we ran out of space at the other two areas, I would like to see us the ability to allow them to meet here, whoever it may be.
And I think one of the easy ways, if that's the direction the commission wants to go, it may have been a long time ago part of the rate ordinance, but it wasn't. This building didn't have a rate for rental when I got here. So at some point that may have gone away. And if that's
Yeah,
something
we
the
had
commission wants to do, they would just have to adopt a rate for that space, we could certainly help with that if that's the commission, the direction wants to go.
And the rate was just basically electric and a custodian that had to be here to open and close. That's all it was. That was, because we had a lot of things after hours too. But I don't know if we want to do that now. It's a different day and age. We got a lot more people, and I don't know about the safety
And
issues.
right now, I think for anybody, it's really during the hours of city hall being
Operation.
open.
Well,
Right.
the only exception to that we would make, for example, is neighborhood watch if it goes down that
Right.
path, because I'm gonna have a law enforcement personnel there anyway. And so they close down this building for us after meetings, and they kind of herd you all out so that we could lock up the buildings. They would do that if, for example, if neighborhood watch came back to the building. One of the
So
things
are
I'm
you
not
saying-
comfortable with is, you know, when I got here and I found out how a particular group was utilizing on Sundays the Mullen Center, and there, there weren't staff people there, and they had their own key, and I'm not comfortable with those kind of things as your administrator. So we can't go back to those kind of things.
Right.
We need to have a staff person present when our facilities are being used to protect everybody. So, but we can accommodate those things.
Well, that's the way it was in the senior center too. But the adult education center, you got a key from the senior center, and they just let you rented it, and you went in on your own. There was never any staff member there. No.
That was then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I need to ask and follow up. So what you were talking about, like with the neighborhood watch, they're not doing their meeting at the same time as like the Parks and Rec Board or whatever, that City Hall is open that evening?
I have no idea what other meetings are going on at the same time, but obviously your advisory boards are your advisory boards, so we staff
Right,
those accordingly.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's my understanding that City Hall is available for the, city affiliates and governmental entities, but it's during the times that the City Hall is regularly open. Now, City Hall is open for our advisory boards on certain days of the month, right? For
If
the
I-
Parks and Rec, Charter.
I believe
Again,
I can
those are our
answer that.
advisory boards. So,
Right. That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. So it would have to be scheduled during those times. We're not opening up City Hall specifically for any particular group or organization.
Again, I haven't had anything proposed to me yet.
Okay.
So until you guys have a policy, I'll review it when it comes in. On that particular one, since I'm going to have a staff person here anyhow, if that ended up being the best direction, yeah, I probably would approve it. Because the room they're meeting in over in PD is much smaller than 244 from a chair perspective. But I can only do that in this building if I'm going to have a staff person that we can have with the key anyway.
But city manager, that's my point I'm trying to get to. It's only going to be available if you're going to have somebody here at the building anyway, aside from whether or not that group is coming, utilizing the space, or there's a meeting going on or whatever. It's not a cost to the city to open up City Hall for a particular group. We're not,
Oh, I see what you're
we're
saying.
not doing that.
If that's the question,
I
correct.
see what you're saying.
Okay.
So what you're
Commissioner
saying is that if somebody's here, you might as well allow them the use as long as it's government involved.
Right.
Don't charge them. Right. You don't charge them but I wouldn't expect Neighborhood Watch being a part of our city. It's an arm of our city to be charged.
Exactly. It's an affiliate.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no fee to charge for this building anyway.
Right.
Right. Right. I just want to make sure that we're not opening up City Hall after hours for any.
But what
particular
about CDD boards? I know, wasn't it?
They're a government, and we have allowed West Villages to use this.
Yeah.
But
okay.
it's, as long as it's not in conflict with
Our board,
your meetings, and they are a governmental entity.
And that's what I'm saying, but it's during the time that City Hall
I'm just
is
answering the Vice
open.
Mayor's question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner McDowell.
So if, this is a great example, a CDD wanted to use room 302, and room 302 was available on a Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning, are you saying one of our staff would be sitting in that meeting?
I'm saying we have a form, and they fill out the form and make a request, and then we evaluate it. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So if you evaluate it and you say yes, are you going to put a staff member in that meeting or not because it's already open?
I haven't had that particular request other than the West Villages Improvement District, and I do not think we have a staff person in here during their meeting, but that's during normal operations.
But you're not saying put them in during the meeting. You're saying make sure someone's here if it's after hours. You're not saying someone has to sit in on the meeting.
For this building, yeah.
Right, for this building.
Again, the only two I'm aware of that we were doing were Neighborhood Watch, which the chief's dealing with them because it's
Right.
primarily a law enforcement opportunity. They help us with a lot of other things. We're directly involved with them. They're a separate agency, but we're directly involved with them. And then the Governmental Affairs and Policy Committee meeting, or that's not what it's called, but the
I know what you mean.
chamber. And to be quite
Government
honest, that was,
relations.
thank you, that was to accommodate as much as anything, staff and the commission being able to go to their meetings.
Well, I'm comfortable with the way it is now, but as long as it's government involved, it's the manager's authority, there's no cost. It's not conflict, I
I have
mean,
no
as long as
problem with
there's
the
a
policy.
process.
I just wanted to let you know
Yeah.
that what you were saying is what functionally, I mean, you've only repealed that like a month and a half ago or
Right.
whatever, so.
Right.
Well,
Well, like I said, with
If you
the,
want to formalize it, but that is, functionally, that's what we're doing right now. Having a policy is great though, because it makes it clear for everybody.
right,
You know.
right.
I'd like to see a formal policy in place. That way then, should something come up, city manager has clear, concise parameters that he's required to follow.
And there's already that form that, again, from what communicated, and there's been a lot of miscommunication, I guess, with the public not fully understanding it as well as myself being communicated to me that this form is not, that's what was used when the policy was in place, but now there's no policy. So, that's, it was
Oh, no.
number 5. And this is the room request form that I guess is what city manager's talking about, that he receives and he approves.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not.
Right. And so basically, it's just a one-page thing. On the other side could be the, simple policy of the fact that it's available for government and,
Be
city
nice if our
affiliates.
special events permit was that easy.
yeah, I know. And that, that alleviates a lot of the,
That one.
So do we want to have a resolution drawn up? Or,
I think if they take this form and basically the way the city manager is conducting it now administratively, just put that on the back of the form and bring that to us and we can take a look at it
okay,
for what's being done now. I mean, if that's what we're all in agreement with and we seem to be okay with what we're doing, document it, and there it is.
I'm okay with it the way it is, but I would like there to be levity in it so that the city manager, if it's not a government entity, and, there might be other things that come about, that he says, hey, I understand you gotta need a place to stay, or, need a place to organize, and I guess I'm saying I don't want to be too strict that would prevent him from being able to let someone like Rotary Club come meet about the parade, you know what I mean? Or even come meet. What if something happens where Rotary has, I guess they could bring it before the commission. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I would be concerned getting into, because then how do you draw the line? You get into
Yeah,
those issues about how do you say yes to one, no to somebody else, and content related, and now we get
clear
into,
parameters in this day and age.
right,
So have the parameters, and then if anything goes beyond those parameters that the city manager says, this could, or like he did with the chambers thing, bring that before.
right. And then we have that opportunity to say, well, this is a public purpose, because that's what this building is for. Then we have an opportunity as a commission to, you may have a group that wants to do an environmental heritage type of
Exactly.
meeting with the public. And we have that ability to say, well, that serves a public purpose. There's not a fee, it's educational, and we can do that. And that's probably the best way to do it. So it's really,
What I was trying to get at.
yeah, it's really simple to maybe document city manager what's being done right now, the policy on the back of the form, and
Very simple.
that's great. We like simplicity, so.
So is he going to bring a resolution for
I-
us to?
It's just the administrative policy, just like these other things that we've seen in here that I provided as backup. This wasn't approved by the commission. This is just showing what the procedures are that staff and the administration is currently doing. And that's administratively, that's really what it is. But there's nothing like that right now for the use of this building. And so.
Okay, here's where I guess I'm confused. When we had originally the 2015 R28 that had permissible uses of city facilities, where it clearly said City Hall is not available.
Right.
Do we need to have a resolution that says City Hall is available under A, B, C, D, E, F, G parameters?
I can only give you what my opinion is, and I think, City Hall traditionally is an administrative building, that we have commission meetings, that it's open to the public, but the meeting rooms, the spaces inside of here is really not for private uses. So if he puts on the back of this form, this is government agencies only, room request. And obviously it would say in city affiliates. He's got it on here, and then it's going to say these rooms 244, 304, or whatever, is available for government and city affiliates. What he's doing now.
So what's the clear direction? What's the
So
direction?
maybe we need to ask city attorney if we need to have it, because he's the one who came up with this resolution originally that got repealed. Do we need to have something in writing with clear direction? That's all I'm trying to get an answer to. Sorry.
If you want to do that, you certainly can do that.
Okay, so it's not what I want to do, it's what this commission wants to do. Okay.
It is not necessary, is maybe where you're trying to ask. Is it
Is
necessary?
it necessary to have it in writing as a rule, as a resolution or an ordinance or some legal parameters in place? Like you did saying that it wasn't available.
I think how you characterized it earlier is accurate. It would be nice if it was outlined, but it's not necessary.
Okay. So it goes back to the four of us. Do we want them to put it in writing?
I don't have a problem the way it is, so don't care, whatever way you want to do it.
I would just like to see on the back of the form, just put what it is that the city administration is currently doing. That's the way it is right now.
So are you saying that you want the form just for us to have or for us to approve? That's the question.
Well, we can certainly approve it if they bring it back to us. We didn't approve any of these. These got put into place. Yeah.
Well, then
can
why
bring
don't
it
we
back.
just, for information purposes, see if the city manager can put it together and send it to us so that if we're asked, we have something on hand that we can say, look, this is the process, this is how it's done. City manager, would that be amenable, would that be okay?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to,
How about what that may trigger? What that may trigger is somebody may have a concern, and then you guys
don't
know
have a
for sure
policy
you
in
want to
place.
do one. Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have a policy in place, guys. We have to
Yeah,
put a
you do not
policy
have
in
a
place.
commission policy in
We
place.
have to put a policy in place for this.
And staff has a
Which would be
policy, but it's
ordinance.
not in writing. That's all I'm trying to get to. Staff has a policy administratively, but it's not in writing. Put it in writing, send it to us. We can take a look at it if we feel we need to do anything different.
okay,
then bring
so,
it back.
so then, in brevity here, direct the city attorney to get with city manager to create an ordinance if it's policy, correct? An ordinance that refers to the present manner that the city manager is using City Hall, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
I'd be more comfortable with the city manager putting it together.
Well, the city manager and the city
He's
attorney
got to have
together.
his stuff reviewed anyway by the city attorney, but
Well, I think the city manager is overwhelmed already. We've already shown that. So I think he can throw it together, have the city manager see it, and then between the two of them, they can figure out what needs to be proposed, and then
Come to us anyway
comes
for-
to us for a first reading. Yep.
I'm sharing because, you know, it was the city attorney that put together the one that we all repealed.
Repealed, I know.
So,
Yeah, but
That's-
he has clear direction from this commission. This commission is a little bit more clearer than that. So, again, the direction is to have this ordinance crafted in a manner that reflects the current process that the city manager is using and following in the use of City Hall. Simple,
simple. as
easy.
that.
Yeah,
Okay, I think
Okay.
we have a consensus for that.
Commissioner Hanks.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanks? Okay, so we have 4 yeses in that direction to the city manager. Simple. Okay. All right.
Ordinance or resolution?
Ordinance.
Wow, the last one was a resolution.
We know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I just want to make sure that we've got that, because I thought I heard for the city attorney to draft the ordinance.
Yes, the city attorney draft the ordinance and then get with the city manager. I mean, him and the city manager have to do it in unison together because it's the city manager's policy, so he needs his help anyways.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I had it right.
You got
That's
it.
what the consensus was for, correct?
Yeah, the city attorney with the city manager to bring back an ordinance reflecting the current administrative policy of the city manager in the use of City Hall.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Right? Everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. We are done with that one. Okay. And we have 15 minutes to make Vice Mayor's,
No,
2-hour
we're
time
past
limit?
5. Totally past 5. I missed, it's 17 minutes past my 5 o'clock.
okay.
Only 15 minutes till dinner, so.
So I'm trying,
All right.
dude.
So we are up to public comment.